Welcome, everybody. Hi, day two of another extended weekend. It is us, and we're back. Welcome. My name is Dean. That's Lachlan. That's Ryan. We're all back, and Karima is here as well, and she's on camera. You're seeing... hi, Karima. How are you? Nice to see you.
I'm good. I'm standing in the middle of the street right now. My mom always said, go play in traffic, and here we are.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. So tell us where you are, Karima. This is day two of, obviously, the Flu Trucks Clan Parade. I like to call it the White Power Brigade in Ottawa. Not a lot of fun yesterday. I think things kind of got whipped up, much to do about nothing. We'll get to some of the more detailed shit that happened yesterday in a few minutes with Karima. She's just on the street right now doing this for us. Karima, how was your night last night, and what are you seeing today?
Well, hold on. It was a good night last night. If we stretch the definition of good a little bit, It was eventful. It was a lot of this.
Yeah. They won't stop. It's legitimately just about making noise, and that's it. But it was... Oh, you're in the clear. It looks like they calmed down there a little bit, Karina.
I skedaddled. I don't know if you could tell, but I ran a little bit to get away from that truck.
Yeah.
We're right now walking down Rideau Street. Parliament's the other way. I might head that way after, but I thought it might be fun to sort of check out what's happening in the course, talk to some people stuck in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
It's, if you can believe it, quieter down here than it is up there. So that was the rationale. But last night was basically a filthy party in the streets. I get the sense that a lot of people who showed up, have curfew in Quebec, and so this is better than that.
All right. So last night,
what we saw curfew.
Last night, what you saw was, as Kareem was saying, we didn't really see a whole bunch. Like, we covered the whole thing yesterday. A lot of people drinking, having a good time, standing up for their supposed freedoms. Nobody in that crowd yesterday had any clue what was going on. Nobody in that crowd. That was the opinion I got. Like, I heard last night, and I talked to a couple of people that were actually there, and they said, listen, everybody in this rally is ultra confused as to what the whole point of this is, other than just to honk horns and be heard. Is that correct?
That's accurate, yes.
It's
I
turned
don't
into a
believe
party.
that there was a plan beyond come here and make noise.
Yeah.
They have not articulated any clear demands. For those who aren't aware, there's actually like an American mandate requiring vaccination for cross-border truckers. So there's nothing that Prime Minister Trudeau could actually do to assuage the upset here. So really, no one has clear goals. No one knows what's going on. We're just acting like animals in the street.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the impression that I get, Locke. Like you do, we were watching all this yesterday. Karima's been terrific at it. At Karima Rules on Twitter if you want to go follow her on her Twitter feed. Thank you. The engagement on this has been incredible. It's like, people are only seeing what's coming in from the outside, according to mainstream media. And I don't know if you guys watch this. Karima, did you watch the news last night? Did you guys watch the news last night, how this is being represented still?
Yeah,
so a little bit. And I think, from what we've talked about today, it's sort of trying to fence it and kind of portray this as there being a legitimate purpose that's been co-opted. And in fact, I think that this is illegitimate at its core, sort of capitalizing on this, the idea that working class people are being harmed, and there is harm, but it's not from this particular mandate, and it's not a trucker-led protest or rally. So what is actually going on? That is the question.
Bingo. Well, I've watched quite a bit of coverage. I had to stop today. I had enough. It was a little bit repetitive.
You can see that cops have blocked the street off here. Yeah. I don't know where everyone back there is supposed to go. I don't know if I'm allowed to be on the street where I am right now, but I'm here for my freedom. So.
Well, if you get tasered, that'll be good TV.
Yeah.
Just
It does
keep the
smell
camera
like weed, though,
going.
so I mean,
No, there's
they
listen.
have that going for them.
Yeah, a lot of these guys love to party, right? Like, and Locke made mention of it. I don't mean to interrupt you, Locke, but you're right. This is just turning into a weekend at Bernie's, like just a weekend of fucking bash.
Can I defend mainstream media here quickly? Listen,
You have to.
You can try.
I think
Is that?
what Karima said is exactly what.
Oh, let's look at
they
this
are-
truck. Hang on one sec.
they
Just
are
look at this
tr-
truck. What does that say on the car? Karima? Make
What are you guys
noise.
here for this weekend? Also, freedom? Your kids? Okay. How does this help your kids? Okay.
It's beautiful to see everybody. Just have the right to choose. Yep. It's important.
I see
Saying
you
he's
guys
saying
have
he wants-
double horns. Triple horns.
Yeah. Can you ask him what the goal is here? Like, where are we supposed to end up?
And do you know like what the goal is of the protest? Like where does this go? The right to choose. Okay. All right. Are you guys from Ottawa? All right. Very nice to chat with you. Thank you.
Where are they from, Karima?
They're from Quebec.
They're from Quebec. And when you asked them what the point of this whole thing was, what did they say?
They said for the right to choose.
Right to choose. All right. Yeah. There you go.
So
So it's an abortion rights rally.
again,
Good to know.
Again, Karima made mention.
I mean, it's something we've seen throughout this movement, right? Like the
Yeah.
appropriation of language surrounding civil rights discourse, feminist discourse, and just totally perverting those sort of ideas and slogans and statements and sentiments
Mhm.
for reasons that are not the same.
No.
The same.
No,
So
no.
false analogies. I mean, and that's how we get all of these like Holocaust comparisons, slavery, apartheid, segregation, but like zero actual historical perspective. That's
Yeah,
my
none.
observation.
None, to the point where, like, Karima took a picture of Terry Fox yesterday, and they desecrated the Terry Fox statue with an upside-down Canadian flag, and a bunch of people pissed on it. Like, and then
Fuck's sakes!
Oh yeah, dude, all of that stuff. I know. So the long and the short of it is that I had a problem with it, and I made mention that I had a problem with it, and someone's like, "Where were you last summer when they were taking down statues of like Ryerson and John A. MacDonald and stuff?" I'm like, there's a big difference here. Those guys were colonial murderers, and Terry Fox
traders.
slave traders. Terry Fox brought the country together and died of cancer in his early 20s. So, and motivated an entire country to stay on course with being altruistic in trying to figure out cancer, right? And I was amazed at that actual conversation because it goes and speaks to Karima's point here. The false equivalency that these guys reach for to try and justify being assholes to other Canadians has been like fucking unbelievable to watch. Like just incredible.
And if whataboutism is your defense for any argument, you don't have an argument. I'm sorry.
Well,
but
and you know what? I want to make sure that I say this because I think I think for the sake of some semblance of balance, even on this podcast, we need to make mention of what I think is being attempted by mainstream media. And Karima mentioned it. She basically, mainstream media is trying to fence or trying to give this some structure which it doesn't have.
Right.
So when they're presenting it, and I know how the minds work of the people behind the scenes because I've been doing this a long time. When you're involved in a situation of covering something that you're being not so much forced to cover, but almost obligated to cover just based on the sheer numbers that are down there, you're going to try to find some way of defining it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the organizers didn't do that, and now mainstream media has sort of stepped in, and like Karima said, it's a brilliant term. They're trying to fence this thing, and they're trying to put some kind of structure around it to give them a cause, to give them some purpose, to actually help out the people that might actually think that this is a good idea, to give them something to hang their hats on, right? And unfortunately, there's too much disarray with this whole fucking thing that now we're gonna turn against mainstream media for covering it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you can't win. So
No.
in order for them to give it some sort of structure, they got to go on and go, okay, well, it started as this, and maybe there's some bad actors involved, but is this what this is? And then they present it, and then everybody there is just going to turn on them again.
A fucking dude in the Mike Myers mask. Did you
Mike
see
Myers
that?
mask. Like mainstream
Karima-
media can't win, and I'm not
No.
defending them. I'm just
my audio's
saying.
cutting in and out, so I
Okay.
heard you say my name. But
Yeah,
can
no,
hear you.
Karima, we're just talking about, and Locke made an excellent point, is that, we're kind of just boots on the ground covering this thing, kind of trying to discern, intention. You've been there. We've really laid this whole thing out. This is a real fringe movement that has co-opted truckers, that has co-opted everything, that has co-opted, victim rights and part of the victim class to tell everybody who's not vaccinated they're not a victim, but there's no plan here. There's like literally no plan, no end game, no nothing. And what Locke is saying is that mainstream media has done a terrible job, in my opinion. Locke's saying they've done this job of trying to explain
I don't know
this.
what else
but,
they would do, though, Dean.
but here's the thing, and I don't know either, but at the same time, every time they talk about this like it's a legitimate fucking trucker rally, and not what it really is, they're purveying the fucking lie. They're legitimately perpetrating exactly what's going on here, because what they
Are you
don't
getting
want to
that,
do
Ryan, from the coverage? That there's somehow, because every piece of news coverage I've seen, they've said, listen, this originally was supposed to be some sort of trucker thing, but it's not that. I'm not getting what you're saying, Dean. Honestly,
No.
I swear. I'm hearing
what the mainstream media is. No, dude, what they're trying to do, and I'll tell you what they're doing, which is exactly what the politicians are doing. And I was trying to get to that, which is they're trying to keep their fingers in all the pies so they don't upset any viewers.
yeah, but some of the pies are poison pies.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there isn't an acknowledgement of that, and covering sort of this type of far right event requires a different approach, because you cannot take at face value what
Right.
you're being told. That's how we have, these reports of 50,000 trucks. That was never going to happen. Why was that ever repeated?
Yeah, and it wasn't just like, here's the thing, Karima. It wasn't just Crazy Pants, Theo Flurry, and a bunch of other nut houses that are attached to the QAnon portion of this bullshit. It was politicians, lawyers, journalists, like people that work for this group, right? Is that not what we're talking about, Karima?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, we were speaking earlier this morning about Melissa Lantsman and, her fake grocery shelf picture, and she should know better. She was in comms, so that wasn't a mistake.
No,
it was
dude.
a mistake in the sense that it was a miscalculation, perhaps.
Yeah.
But it was not a mistake.
No.
I think they should
None
have
of
just
this is a
called
mistake.
this thing what it was right from the beginning. Then we wouldn't be embroiled in this conversation.
Hillbilly parade?
Well, no, it's a I hate Justin Trudeau parade. Whether or not it accomplishes anything is beside the point.
Right.
You hate Justin Trudeau. You've somehow made him the villain here for a worldwide pandemic. And I'm not defending the fucking
Oh, totally,
idiot.
totally.
But you've somehow made him some sort of a villain, okay? Now, just call it that. We hate Justin Trudeau because we're mad that we can't go to Denny's. That's what this parade thing should
Always
be.
Denny's. Karima, can you turn around and just have a look? Like, are people they're stopped, like, preventing traffic from going anywhere?
Yeah.
Just standing in the middle of the road? Is that correct?
Yes, police have blocked off part of Rideau and Wellington.
Okay.
So it's kind of a free-for-all. There is no regular commuter traffic. I imagine it's being diverted. So, people are treating it like it's Canada Day. That's the closest kind of equivalent that I've ever seen in Ottawa.
This ain't my Canada.
They shut down the streets. I mean, there's lots
That's
of
the
flags.
It's not mine either.
Problem is,
if
it
you're
is our
pissing on a
Canada.
Terry
That's a
Fox
problem.
statue, go fuck yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that's...
Oh, dude,
that's-
it wasn't just pissing on the Terry Fox statue. You know how many people took a piss on the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier yesterday?
Come
Lots.
on. Like, I mean,
Lots.
honestly.
I
Like,
didn't actually,
What's that, Karima?
I don't know. Did anyone pee on Terry Fox?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I've got firsthand accounts of it, and happy to send out those pictures. On the base of it. This is fucking bizarre. right? Fucking
Yeah.
these like what I will say about the people with the horns, and I said this yesterday, is like, fuck, it
commitment.
could be the most annoying sound in the world,
Yeah.
and the fact that these people are this committed to it is kind of impressive. Like this is Hornsville.
I just want to
Yep.
I want to say that I'm in a snowsuit and I'm like not in shape. So when I run for these trucks,
Yeah.
that comes at a personal cost, and I just want to put that out.
I'm glad you did. I totally get it. Running is like my least favorite thing to do. If someone's like, "Hey, go for a run," I'm like, you can go
It
fuck
makes me
yourself. I'm
angry.
not running.
I get mad when I see someone running.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I'm like,
we do
you
too.
fucking keener.
We're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at the Cenotaph. This is the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. This is where it all went down yesterday. This is one of the things people are super pissed at. There was a lady who stood on the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, danced a jig, was asked to get down, did, grabbed a beer, got back up, and started dancing a jig. Now, I'm not too sure. I have accounts of people taking a leak on the Terry Fox statue or the base of it. Karima, I believe a man and his dog here started off the whole thing yesterday by taking a leak on the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Is that correct?
I did see. I myself, with my own eyes, saw a dog pee. I did not see a person pee, but
Okay.
I'm told from a reliable source that at least 2 people did.
Okay.
Like they should be shot. I don't
Wow.
shoot them.
That's a little strong.
No,
That's a little
no,
strong.
it is not.
It
is not. Somebody should be in one of those buildings with a
Bell
sniper
towers?
rifle, and if you pull your dick out on the unknown, you get a bullet in the back of your head. I don't like. Listen, fine, go protest. If you're doing that, I'm sorry.
All bets are off. Yeah. Karima, how far are you back from the hotel right now?
Mad this makes me.
Not far.
Okay.
I might make my way back there.
Yeah, why don't you make your way back? We'll decamp, and we've got a couple conversations to have with you because you're on your way back from the rally itself, and we've got a couple things to get to. Thanks.
Take your last look then, folks.
Oh yeah,
you can mute me. I'll keep the video on.
Okay.
And then I'll
keep walking.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, kiddo. Thanks. Appreciate it. It's Karima. She's in Ottawa. At Karima Rules on Twitter is where you can find her. Sadvocacy.com is the name of her website. She is doing all kinds of duty this weekend in Ottawa trying to cover the Flu Trucks Clan rally. I get your point and your anger, Locke. And just to kind of further the conversation, I mean, these are the things that we're talking about. These are the intentions of the people. This is the Terry Fox Memorial statue, upside-down Canadian flag. They've given him a Mandate Freedom placard. They've tied a flag onto the back of Terry and put a Team Canada hockey hat on him, which, like, I understand because, like, during the pandemic when we saw it, someone put a mask on Terry Fox on this very statue, and it upset people, and it was a vaccinated person that did it, trying to say, hey, was it? I'm not a huge statue guy, but I'm showing you this because this is the intention of this group. These are the intentions of this group. A lot of people over the past couple of days are like, there's no racists. There's like 5 racists. I count more than 5 just in this one picture, this douche lord with a fucking Confederate flag. And not just that Confederate flag, bud, but like a lot of Confederate flags. Like this guy with the same Confederate flag, and he's so fucking brave. Here's the video. This is a video of him walking around with a Confederate flag. And God bless. I mean, there's some people in this group that are like, get the fuck out of here. But this.
Now he's going. Now he's gone. We called him out. He knows. He's going to hold his head in shame now.
Yeah. So that was that guy. And it wasn't just that guy either. I mean, this is from yesterday. And the reason why this is interesting is because there's so much that is attached to the Nazi imagery, the fuck Trudeau imagery, the Nazi Hitler shit that's been going around. It's not just a few flags, it's a lot of flags. And when I say it's a lot of flags, it's not just the people with the flags, but it's the people doing shit like this too. I want you to have a look. This is Trudeau hanging in effigy from an overpass, and I want you to look just underneath the Trudeau that we can see that's facing us. Do you see this woman carrying a 3-year-old child? Do you see that? That's who these people are. Not only is that who these people are, I want to play you a video, and I saw this today, and this is from downtown Ottawa. This is a little child who appears to be about 2 years old. This is pure, unadulterated child abuse by hillbillies who'd rather fucking legitimately torture their own 2-year-old than do the right thing. Watch. Now, if you're in listening land and you can't see this, we're on YouTube. Dean Blundell Show on YouTube is where you can find us. You can also get us on Twitch. What you just missed was a 2-year-old in the back of a car, windows open, mom hanging out the window, going, yay, freedom, flag in the back, and horns so loud the kid is like leaning forward, holding onto his ears for dear life because it is so fucking loud. And it is so dangerous to him and his mind because these noises are absolutely insane. Not that he hasn't heard shrill fucking shrieking in the house where his mother lives, who's clearly a fucking terrible individual. But we're talking about people, and the reason why I'm showing you this is none of these people care about human beings around them, only the cause and the human beings attached to the same degenerate cause that they're co-opting to show everybody how mad they are. Yeah,
the window was open.
It didn't need to be open.
Close the window. I mean, maybe you're on your way to daycare. I don't know, or whatever. Or you're going to drop little Elvis off at grandma's place, right? Like
Elvis,
right?
Cletus Jr.
Son of a bitch. And you know what? And this is the problem. And this is why I'm so frustrated, because people are allowed to protest. People are allowed to have an alternative opinion to you. People are allowed to be upset about what we're going through. They should be allowed to have a point. But it's just the number of things, the racism, the stupidity, the unnamed soldier, the Terry Fox thing. It just continues. The hypocrisy of tying into a trucker convoy when it didn't have anything to do. All of it is driving me insane. You're just there because you're pissed off that your life changed. So did mine. And guess what? I looked up tyranny in the dictionary. It didn't say anything about wearing a fucking cloth mask into the liquor store.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't understand. I get it. I don't understand why you can't. I get it if you've lost your job. If what's happened has impacted you to the point where it's impacting your living. But, I mean, come on. Like, this is just... It's all of the shit that just keeps getting high. The lack of cohesiveness of a message, all of it is just making you guys look fucking stupid. The other side of it is I'm a conservative voter. I would like to have a changing government in the next 4 years. And all I can think is at some point, somebody on the right has to go, I think this is hurting us. Right? No.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Like O'Toole, if you're honestly thinking that this is helping the right, if Maxime Bernier, if whoever's on the right thinks that this isn't just all it is doing is digging ourselves into a liberal fucking hole, you have no idea how politics works. And if you think that this is somehow bringing hope and not dividing a country, and you're in Ottawa right now, I have some really, really sad news for you. This is making it worse. A lot worse.
They know that, dude. They want to make it worse. Like, there's a reason they're there, filling the air with as much noise as they can. There's a reason that they love it when Theo Flurry's like, go for it. There's a reason why they love it when Theo Flurry, who yesterday said just had a long conversation with Vladimir Putin. He wants all the truckers to do a great job today. He literally tweeted that out. Because these guys, you can take all the different, like, I'll get the tweet. Yes, I'll get the tweet for you. Actually, Ryan, would you be able to grab that for me?
I'll pull it up.
Yeah. Thanks.
Do you think he actually did?
Dude, I know he did. I saw it. Like, I fucking watched it. And I'm like, it was to the point where I read it and I'm like, I got to come back to this. I'm busy. I can't even fucking donate time to try to understand what he's doing. Now that I understand what he's doing, it's what every single person in this fucking cabal of stupidity is doing. They're flying so close to the sun, they feel like they got some jam. right? They're like,
Yeah, you know what? They're getting
oh my
some
God, I'm
attention.
someone finally. Like, especially out west, where out west, you guys have this like fucking little person complex where you're like, what about us all the time? And I get that. Like, I totally understand that. I love Alberta. I love Albertans. I spent the majority of my life growing up in Western Canada. And watching you guys operate in this fucking weird vacuum and sucking at the teat of conservatism. Like, I saw this dude yesterday fight me. He was fighting me. I wasn't fighting back. He's talking about how much of a douchebag I am. And I looked at his profile because that's what I do. It's like, I am in love with oil, gas, natural resources suck. And I'm like, wow, this guy's fucking centered. Like, none of these people are centered because they're so angry. But what they're trying to say is we hate the government and we hate mandates. I got news for all of them. And I'm looking at you when I'm talking to you. And I want you to listen to me very carefully if you're part of this. We don't like government interference. We hate this government as well. As a matter of fact, we hate all politicians because of how they fucked us all too.
Equally.
We hate being locked down. We didn't feel like getting mandates. We didn't feel like getting vaccinated. We hate this as much as you. So when you subject an entire city to that bullshit, bullshit that we're going through at the same time that these people are going through, you make no friends. And guys like me work extra hard to paint you as exactly what you are, because I don't want my country to look like this anymore. No. I don't. Neither does Lachlan. We come at life politics from two completely different angles, you and I. I am apolitical. You're a conservative voter. You like talking about politics. I like talking about values. And you know what we see out of our politicians these days?
Nothing.
Fucking none. Like zero. So this isn't about whether or not these guys are crazy, which a large portion of them are, because they're detached from reality. If you think you're going to Ottawa to take over the government on behalf of fucking 4,000 people, you are legitimately insane. Okay? We agree with you. These mandates suck. We agree with you. We hate this fucking time that we're in. We want to be able to move around. We get that. But the harder you make us pay for going through this because you think this is just happening to you, the less friends you're going to have and the angrier we're going to be. And the 90%, and I truly believe that that's what we're representing in these conversations, is the 90%. The 90% are never, ever, ever going to forgive you for this shit. Never.
Well, and here's
all you're doing is circumcising your way into what is now. And I said this in a tweet yesterday. We are legitimately witnessing the birth of the victim class in this country.
Yeah,
we're legitimately witnessing the birth of it.
Good way of putting it.
I don't care where you're from, what you believe, how much you love your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I really don't. I don't care how you vote. I don't care what your favorite colors are. If you are involved in this and you think the 90% are standing out here going, way to go, fuck, make our lives worse for another weekend when we've been at it for 2 fucking years, I'm sorry, you're dumb, because we hate it too. So while you're out there trying to get your fucking famous fix, while you're out there looking to go viral, while you're out there looking for kudos from assholes like Elon Musk, whose entire intention with the trucking industry, by the way, is to put it out of business with driverless trucks, you're a fucking moron. Yeah, and there's a reason you get treated the way you get treated. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
So Ryan, I don't want to jump in if you wanted to say something here.
No, mine was like 45 minutes ago. I'm good.
Sorry, I felt like I had to get it out.
You needed to get it all out.
He's getting used. He's getting used to it. Okay, so we have.
What I was trying to say was
Keenan
Bexty. Keenan Bexty was tweeting out that he was attending back to talking about how there was no organization, nobody knows what's going on, and
Rebel News.
Mainstream media has no. Well, formerly Rebel News, I believe. I don't believe he's with them anymore, is he?
I don't know.
I don't think he is. But he was.
Looks like a fucking burn victim.
He was in the very sophisticated, his words, logistics center of the organizers for this rally. No pictures, no nothing. Said that interviews and press conference was going to be given to trusted media only.
No.
So if you're wondering why that mainstream media has no idea what's going on, it's because nobody's telling them what's going on from any organizational aspect or standpoint from this. So,
because there's nothing going on, dude.
I
Like
know.
it's literally, it's like
It's
Facebook
smoke and
had a
mirrors.
fucking movement, and they went, "Let's go to Ottawa." People grabbed their piss jugs, their Bibles, their meth, and they're like, "Off we go!" And that's what this is. There's no organization. There's nothing. There's no point to it either. Like we had Karima. She's been there all weekend. We've been asking people, "What's the point?" They're like, "I don't know. We're a little disappointed.
Freedom!
There's no point."
What's freedom? So you had the freedom to drive here, waste everyone's fucking time.
Freedom
Like,
to
honestly,
lock a city
if
down
this
at
was
your
in
will.
China right now,
Imagine if you
there
lived
would
there.
be guys walking around the streets beating people with canes. Go there.
And if you
Go
wanna-
there. Get
if
a
you want
real
good-
taste of what fucking not freedom is, you fucking losers.
Yeah, if you want a good look at what this is actually doing, go to different municipal accounts of Ottawa, like their roads department, the police department, the local places, and read the tweets, like read the replies of the local residents losing their fucking minds because they can't get out of their house, they can't fucking go to the store, they can't.
Yeah. I got one for
So
you.
what
I
you've
got one
done
for you.
is you've taken their freedom away for your protest saying that you don't have freedom.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
got
freedom
one
for
for
all
you.
Canadians, but not for people in Ottawa this weekend, apparently.
How about the freedom to live? Do you guys like living? Living's fun, right? Being alive is cool. You guys like it? Everybody here's like, yeah, James, not so much.
James had a rough week.
Yeah, I like being alive. As most of these things go, there's collateral damage from this that some people won't report on or see. Let me just bring this up. Not that. Oh yeah, we'll bring that one up in just a second as well. Where is it? This is the one I'm looking for. This is from Natalie Harris. I've sourced this. This indeed happened. A friend of mine, she says on her Facebook, who's a paramedic in Ottawa, read full message. A trauma patient died yesterday as paramedics were delayed getting to the hospital. Quote, I work as a medic in Ottawa this afternoon, this evening. Peaceful demonstration, ? Yes. Respectful, ? Not one iota. Swastikas painted on Canadian flags, Confederate flags flying. We've shown you all those. Desecration of monuments. We've shown you all that. Not to mention the free-for-all drinking. And I know personally that emergency vehicles were obstructed. When trying to pass through the crowds, we were told repeatedly, it's my freedom to walk here. Lights and sirens meant nothing today. A trauma code died. A human being. A trauma code is a human being. Died because vehicles wouldn't move for an ambulance on the way to the trauma center that should have been 10-minute drive and fully survivable injury took 45 minutes, and they died as they arrived. Trucks and support vehicles obstructed another ambulance with someone on a cath lab bypass deliberately moving into the carpool lane to cut them off. Peaceful? Maybe. As respectful, it was the most disgusting display of human behavior I have ever yet to witness. Not just that.
Sums it up.
Dude. Yeah. And then the Good Shepherd, people of the Shepherds of Good Hope. This is a homeless shelter that feeds hungry homeless people. Saying, hi, everyone. I'd like to thank you for bringing this to our attention. Earlier today, our staff and volunteers experienced harassment from convoy protesters seeking meals from our soup kitchen. The individuals were given meals to diffuse the conflict. Management was informed of it. They went on to say that no one came back for meals. These people, because they couldn't eat in restaurants, were stealing meals from homeless people yesterday.
Like literally extorting them to, like threatening them. They assaulted a security guard as well, and one of the volunteers. That was part of their official statement that they released after those tweets. Like, what is this? Like, what is it?
You know what it is. We've been telling you what it is. I hate the fact that we keep talking about it and going, yeah, but what's wrong with these people? Like, that's not all of them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is the intention of the fucking group.
It's tarnished the whole thing.
There's an old saying in Germany that says if there's a table, shut up. There's a table
pretty
of
Aryan too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Is this a good idea?
If there's a table of 10 people,
It's a very round head,
one
For a table of 10 people and one.
yeah, one of them is a Nazi. That's a table of 10 Nazis.
Yeah.
So
No, 11 Nazis.
10 people.
Can't
and
believe
one
we were
Nazi
worried.
is still 10 people.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, okay. Well, sorry. I thought the other.
Yeah,
person
but that's an
came.
actual
My bad.
saying.
Mine not-
That's an
I'm-
actual.
I'm-
No, it's
yeah.
okay. It's an actual saying in Germany.
Yeah.
And it's
Because they're
and it's,
smart.
If you show up and there's people waving Nazi flags and you're walking with them, guess what? You're
You're a Nazi.
supporting the message of your comrades
And I keep seeing that on the press today too, right? Well,
They're not all bad.
There's a lot of people here. There's going to be a couple bad actors. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. You know why they came out? Because they fit in.
They hate Canada.
They
That's why they came out.
in.
Yeah, they're dumb and they hate Canada.
400 tweets in my notifications about the Nazi band, right? And people are fighting about whether or not they were Nazis. They're calling themselves after a tank that the Nazis used in World War II. Guess what? They're Nazis.
That could be any Nazi.
I don't know why we're having this discussion. The band name is named after a Nazi tank.
What's that, Karima? What were you saying?
At least at that point, it becomes sort of a reverse onus, where if you are naming yourself after German artillery, you should explain yourself, because there's going to be a presumption that you are a Nazi. And it can be a rebuttable presumption. It doesn't mean you're definite. Like, I mean, I suppose you could have some other, I don't know. But like on face value, yeah, that's some Nazi shit right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's female James.
Well, let's get into the Nazi stuff and where this all started. I mean, this has been attached to the freedom of obligation movement forever, right? We know that. It's just part of the ideology. We want to be allowed to do whatever we want and go fuck yourself and white power, everybody, white power. So I want to get into a couple of things, because Melissa Lantsman, you remember Melissa Lantsman? She is a Jewish member of parliament. And she was one of the first people to help lead the charge to paint this insurrection type parade of rejects as a trucker thing, a trucker mandate, fake pictures from Newcastle, England, saying these are Canadian shells. They were not. We do not have the supply chain issues that Miss Lantsman is suggesting we have. She knew for a fact this was fake. She put it out anyway. And all of a sudden, these Nazi sympathizers started showing up, which we all knew they would, right? Like, we all knew that every single racist douchebag in Canada that fucking hates Justin Trudeau was making a point of treating this like a life event. So they went. And it, again, not just that person. We've got some upside down flags, which is reminiscent of the same
they put
thing.
A hat on them too, I see.
Yeah, nice Team Canada hat at least. And they've got the Confederate flag bullshit all over the place, hanging people in effigy. And it all started when Melissa Lantsman told them, we're going to Ottawa. And not only are we going to Ottawa, we're going to Ottawa to straighten out these mandates for the truckers. And it brought this out. So today she tweets, and not that tweet. It's this tweet. Because of people shitting all over these statues and stuff. If Monday morning the government of Canada introduced legislation to make desecration of all monuments in our country a criminal offense with mandatory prison sentence, it would have my full support. She started this.
And also that would just be a rotten policy.
Audacity.
Like
Why would it be a rotten policy?
Like mandatory prison, mandatory minimum sentences, on so many occasions have been found to be unconstitutional because they prevent a judge from properly assessing all of the factors in sentencing, right? So every situation is different. We still have a number of mandatory minimums in Canada, and that's, I think, a low-hanging fruit that the Liberal government can and should deal with. But yeah, it's just bad policy. It's bad policy, and it's already also illegal. So why are we adding more tools to the criminal code when, there's ways to do with it? I guess, sorry, I'm seeing this from the perspective of just as criminal legislation policy. It's a dumb idea. But also, yes, this is your fault, Melissa, in part.
Did she ever apologize for using the in-stock photos?
Pretended she had nothing to do with it, dude. She like she just ignored it. Like she's been getting fucking skewered on Twitter, and she's like, nothing to see here. Nothing. Yeah. That's what these guys do.
A talking point that they've been using is that, the image was just to show what's happening with our supply chain right now. And they just went ambiguous, as if that's supposed to satisfy anybody.
So then it should have been easy enough to go out and get a picture then, Melissa.
You'd think.
Yeah.
Here's another one of her tweets. She tweets about the whole Nazi memorabilia thing that was covering the entire parade yesterday. It is possible, she says, this is yesterday afternoon, to respect people's rights to protest even if you think they're wrong, while condemning the reprehensible symbols used by a small number who've attached themselves to this convoy. We do it all the time, she says. Nazi flags are wrong at every protest. She started this. She fucking lit the fuse for it. She's gaslighting her own gaslighting, which is really hard to do. And if you
Did
go
she
through
block
her
you
Twitter
after
feed,
your response?
not yet.
Impressive.
She might. Oh, yeah, I didn't read my response to it, did I? I don't think about it. I said, you facilitated it, Melissa. You don't have the moral authority to critique any part of that hillbilly white power parade. Your fake photos and fake assertion this is a trucker rally brought those people out. Wear it. You don't like Canada. You like you. Is there any other way to look at this, Karima? James? Anybody?
Even in her tweet, she's sort of
Been
deflecting,
trying.
bad symbols used by a small number. It's this whole idea that there's somehow infiltration into this protest and it's not baked into the core of what's happening. And I don't think that that's accurate. That's not to say that every single person who's come out here would openly identify as a racist. In fact, I don't think any racists openly identify as racists,
No.
but it's by
Your
sort of
ethnicity
association and
critics.
proximity. And what do you support? What do you endorse? It's not. I think it's a wrong-headed approach to focus on what's in your heart, because it's sort of irrelevant, right?
Yeah,
What's the
it's the
impact
first-
of your action?
It's the first Trojan horse I've ever seen that had big, huge windows on the side of it.
Yeah.
Let me just kind of, I'm going to recap two more Melissa Lantsman tweets. So she minimized the Nazi symbolism, right? You saw that. For the last 2 weeks, she's been hammering these tweets. It's been 77 years since the liberation of Auschwitz. The Holocaust didn't start with death camps. Then she posts another picture of some imagery where she says, these swastikas are bad. Well, fuck. Like, they're bad here. You don't like them here. But if it suits your political need, you use them here.
Yeah, my friends can carry them, I guess, if they're
Fucking, like, do you think we're idiots, Melissa? Conservative Party of Canada, you think we're fucking idiots? You think we don't see fucking Aaron O'Toole, chief racist in Canada, meeting with these guys saying, we get it. These aren't truckers. These aren't truckers. That guy might have a truck, but he's not being misrepresented by a mandate, a legitimate mandate from the United States. You want to come and fight Canada for it? This is where we're at. I mean, it fucking, the mind-blowing part to me is the role the political machine has played, and the role that a Jewish woman in the Conservative Party is playing in making this okay. I don't get it.
I mean, that's
you
one
think
of
that-
the dangers of representational politics, though, right? Just because you might have some facet of some identity, you're not necessarily aligned with the best interests of that group. And in fact, the opposite can happen, where you allow yourself or are effectively tokenized in a way that says, hey, look who we have on our team. We're diverse, but you actually are all still working towards the same objectives. And so on an individual level, and that's kind of part of the issue of, as I say, representational politics, where we applaud ourselves. Oh, we have, 2 Black people on our team. We have 1 gay person on our team, like whatever. But if you're not actually working towards kind of, and it's hard to define the interests of a group, right? But it's complicated, and I think that we have flattened conversations in such a way where the bar is set too low, and then it's an oversight, or it just I'm losing my kind of thing here, but it's fucked up. So representational politics is bad.
Yeah.
Fucking fall for
But
that.
that's an honest way of looking at it, though, because I think there's a lot of, it's a diverse crowd as much as you don't want it to be, and it's only because it had to become that in order to become the size that it was, because it wasn't organized. So just therefore, the people that are making up this crowd are probably largely harmless, but I have a hard time just like looking at photos and being like, fucking Nazis, the whole thing, they're all Nazis. Like I can't find a way to get to that place because then I don't think it's going to be helpful anyways. And
I don't think we're saying that, James. I think what's happening is, for me anyway, I'm looking at this as, okay, what if we could do something to start the conversation about the changes that need to be made? This is not it. Clearly, this is not it. And the subgroups that have attached themselves to this have completely destroyed any possibility. Not only that, here we are now, we're going to get bogged down with this for weeks on end when we should be starting to look at the conversations we need to have to push ourselves forward to the next levels of this pandemic. And I think this is just going to fucking slow us down even further, because now groups and organizations that are responsible for making the mandates, they're creating the mandates, are going to sit there and go, we were going to lift this, loosen this up, but does that just incite this group? Like, I honestly think that all this does, James, is fucking throw a wrench into progress that needs to be made. We need to be having conversations about whether or not Omicron is actually as deadly as they thought it was going to be. We need to be having conversations about whether or not we can send kids back to school, because are schools really the root cause of this? We need to be having those conversations. We need to be having conversations now with so many people having COVID, whether or not, if you've gotten vaccinated once, twice, 3 times, and you've gotten COVID, how much protection do you have? We're not going to be having those conversations. We're actually, all we're doing now is impeding that conversation because of this fucking loser protest in Ottawa. It just slows everything down, because now everybody sits there and goes, how do we reach that group? How do we placate this side? How do we, instead of having the conversations that we need to fucking have? And that's what pisses me off about it.
I think you're sort of half right, but I think that actually what they'll do is they'll claim credit for what's already in the works, which I think is a return to normalcy, a loosening up a little bit. Don't forget, we're like the last people in the world, us and places in the States, and a couple little pockets in Europe that are like still at the stages that we're at as far as like lockdowns and mandates and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I think that we're going to see, I mean, I don't want to predict anything in this, but like, I would say that we're probably going to see a loosening of restrictions. And then this group is going to tomorrow. And this group is going to claim that they did it. It's not going to put a wrench in anything or stopping the progress. If anything, they're just going to Forrest Gump it and be like, told you they need to
we did it.
Look, we did it. Yeah, we did it, everybody. Like,
exactly. They're gonna again, as they do best, they're gonna co-opt something and say it's their own, like this protest, like those mandates being and the restrictions being loosened tomorrow that we announced 2 fucking weeks ago from the Ford government. In 21 days from now, are they going to have a protest on the 19th day before that part where we go into the phase 2 of the reopening?
Yeah.
I guess they should.
The changes to the policies provincially in Saskatchewan were talked about 3 weeks to a month ago.
Yeah.
In BC, the changes and the policies that they're changing and the reversing in BC were talked about a month ago.
Yeah.
Same in Alberta. This rally had nothing to do with it. If I see somebody claiming success, I'm going to.
You're going to see a lot of people.
There's a lot of people claiming success already. That's exactly right.
Yeah. When McDonald's fucks up my burger, I don't go yell at the Wendy's either. Like, these are provincial mandates that they're yelling about.
I do.
Like, it's
just to keep it real, you know.
It's like it's so. This is what I mean by like with no organization, people are so disillusioned. Some people don't know how government works, and you know what? That's your ignorance is bliss, and I'm glad for you. But this causes people to make the wrong decisions on where to vent their anger. There's proper ways. Why aren't they sitting on the steps of Queen's Park every fucking weekend? Like in this mass. Well, they are, but not in this capacity.
Right.
You know.
The big principle in protesting is that like is the same with free speech, right? Like you don't necessarily have to agree with the reason why they're protesting. You just agree to their right to protest, right? And I think that's important. It's super important, especially when you disagree with what they're protesting. And in this case, that being salad bar of a bunch of things that people just put onto this, and that's fine. But I can't get behind it emotionally when it's one of those things, right? Like it becomes a like a kind of a chore for me to really have a passion for it. And just the one point I think that we should kind of, at least I like to remember, is the blocking of traffic and blocking of ambulances and stuff. I wish that would just stop no matter who's protesting. Like I just think if it's from Black Lives Matter to like Proud Boys, everything in between, stop blocking fucking traffic, especially near hospitals. It happens all the time. Or on big highways like the 400 series highways and stuff.
A better, a more concerted effort to, I don't know, the police, and maybe they did, Karima, to block off, like the routes to the hospitals. I guess you can't protect the entire city, but
Ottawa police put out a statement last night saying that it alluded to the fact that they were not responding to lower priority calls due to the fact that their resources were so stretched.
So yesterday was the time to take a shit in the road and steal some stuff. Yeah.
So,
which is kind of what was happening anyway. Yeah, I saw cops walking around in like gangs of 5, but not really doing anything. I mean, their presence, I suppose, maybe enough, I don't know. No, not really. So I'm not sure.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. You go ahead, Karima.
I was just going to say that like the fear and the division is, something that is being deliberately fomented and deliberately capitalized upon, right? So this isn't like happening by accident. There are groups and entities who are trying to stoke this for their own sort of political ulterior motives, and they don't give a shit about the greater good or kind of how this benefits society in the long run or whatever. Everything is collateral damage to those ulterior motives. And I think others get swept up in that. And what we have with this movement is sort of a catch-all for all sorts of conspiracy thinking. You have people who come at it from a religious bent. You have people who come at it from sort of a wellness, spirituality bent. You have kind of people who are distrustful of government and authority regardless. Like it's capturing all these different segments under one umbrella. And, that is why I think we see the numbers that we see, even if it is still a relatively small segment of the population who is vocally out there kind of screaming about it. It's not a phenomenon that can just be ignored, and people who land themselves in this sort of cesspool are now exposed to everyone else in the cesspool, and that's how people are slipping down rabbit holes, I think.
And
I think part of it too is like we're talking about the general feeling, but the juice that comes from influencers and people that we used to respect is with agendas, great point, is fucking bizarre. As I said earlier, this is Theo Flurry, former NHL star. He tried to fight me last week. It went very poorly for him because he thought there were 1 billion people in this convoy. He says, and I quote, this is from yesterday, just got off the phone with Putin, who's a huge hockey fan. Says he loves Canada, loves what the truckers are doing. This is, and I did check with some lawyers, this is deleterious sedition. Do you want me to kind of fucking break that down?
You're going to need to explain that. Let James do it because he just smoked a huge joint, and I'd like to hear him try to fucking.
Dude, I'm watching you do this podcast like this.
But
where'd James' eyes go?
What this is he is Theo Flurry because our man Vladimir Putin connects with guys who play hockey. That's how he kind of runs around.
Yeah.
It's
not
fucking
busy
bizarre.
with Ukraine right now or anything.
Yeah, he's going to invade Ukraine.
So
but he took a minute to call Theo. I don't know if it did, but Theo is a board-certified fucking liar. Theo Flurry, if you're looking at me, hang on. I just want to – and folks, feel free to clip this and send this to him. Theo Flurry is a board-certified liar. And not only is he a liar, he is very, very mentally unwell and detached from reality, and he absolutely needs an intervention. Absolutely. Theo, you need a fucking massive intervention. I don't know if that's true, but let's just say it is. let's just say he did talk
I
to
couldn't help but
a
stare
guy
at
who
the-
wants
is.
to.
the
I think
cat
it's true.
taking
It is
shit
such a
behind Dean's
gangster
head.
move. That's exactly what Putin would do. He'd be like, you know what? It's going to be fucked up if I call this kid, you know, and I fucking start talking. Hey, yeah,
Right?
listen, it's Putin. It really is. Yeah.
how
I
you
know.
doing?
I know. I'm sorry.
Go truckers.
Yeah.
Go
Good
go
luck to the
unrest.
truckers.
Yeah.
Yes. Do whatever you
And
need to do.
all that Putin wants is to reduce Canada to chaos. That's all he wants. So if that is true, everybody that was at that thing yesterday took part in a seditious act in my mind. And that's one thing, because they hate Canada. They want Canada to fail. There's like 90% of us that want Canada to succeed because we actually like living in peace. But in Canada, you don't have that ultra freedom, which brings me to my next question. And I'd love to canvass the group with this question, if you can. Just canvas. It's like a blanket. That's what canvassing is. I'm going to blanket this around, see if you guys want to get in on this little tidbit. If these guys truly don't give a fuck about anything else other than their individual freedoms, how comfortable would you be standing in that group of 5,000 people that don't give a fuck about anybody but themselves? Is that lost on anybody here?
No, and that's part of the what I was commenting earlier, that I'm disappointed that this is setting us back. I'm disappointed that this has become what it is, right? Because and I get even angry every time I hear them talk, and they're throwing out the rhetoric from the mega fucking movement in the States. It's just embarrassing. The whole thing's embarrassing. It's just
we did have some nice moments, so like this guy here that was holding up this sign. Fuck your white nationalist agenda. Vaccines protect the vulnerable. Stop being selfish. I believe in public health care. Thank you, nurses. Vaccines save lives. But maybe my best one and my favorite. Honk if you have a tiny dick.
That would have
Karima,
been
how
the way
much
to
honking?
solve this.
How much honking did you hear?
I can hear it still right now. So.
Karima's coverage yesterday unearthed the sign just stuck in the snow. I was angry. I made a sign.
Yeah, it was perfect. And they just left it.
You know, Dean, to your canvassing question, I think part of it is that a lot of people have difficulty thinking or understanding things in the abstract. So if you say sort of this is good and it's for sort of people who they don't physically see in front of them, and this is going to help this person, but it's in the abstract, you know, that doesn't land. But then they sort of are experiencing their own, you know, simple lives that have been disrupted, and that's the immediate reality that they understand. And then if someone feeds an explanation that makes sense to them, whether or not the explanation makes sense objectively or has sort of logical fallacies baked into it or whatever, if they're not critical about that, and then, you know, here's what it is, and oh, that intuitively makes sense. I think that that's kind of what brings at least some of the people out here, because in kind of being in these crowds, it ebbs and flows, and I've seen sort of tiny acts of humanity, but that doesn't redeem kind of the group overall. It gives me maybe a little bit of optimism, so it prevents me from becoming fully jaded. You know, to see that occasionally, like there was one clip where a cop fell down and the protesters who the cop was trying to stop went to go help him, right? Okay, that's kind of nice. And, you know, I myself, you know, have been kind of in altercations where other people who are in the crowd and not aligned with me will step in to prevent that, like, things from going sour. So I've seen and experienced that. Again, I don't think it redeems this overall, but I think it's a question of abstract versus sort of immediate reality and difficulty parsing between the two.
That's interesting, because that's what I've been trying to get out of this, Karima. Some sense of of purpose, something. Just I want to hang my hat on, but then every time there's a moment of it or a glimpse of it, or somebody says, "Yeah, but it's about this," and then I see a Nazi flag in the background, right? Like that's what's bothering me so much. I'm glad you're there to share all this, and you've done just a fucking amazing job with this whole coverage, Karima.
Absolutely.
I actually didn't even mind giving up my weekend to fucking join in because
I was just gonna say 2 days in a row.
I want to play a video that Kareem. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, and then we'll get to that.
No, I just wanted to quickly just if we're thinking about the long-lasting impact of something like this, I don't think that we're going to have to worry about it too much. And I'm not trying to be too funny about this, but like when you're not organized and when you're disjointed, this type of event becomes almost the crescendo in your activist career, and then you're gonna go home and your Facebook won't be blocked anymore, right? And everything will be fine again. Because I don't the follow through. I don't see an amalgamation of like thinkers and leaders coming together to create.
I don't know, man. There's stuff behind. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. We don't have like. The majority of people out in the streets aren't the brains behind the operation. They are the pawns in the operation. No, but they're pawns, right? And so and easily manipulated, unfortunately. Yeah. So I don't know that this just kind of evaporates. And I think for some of the people here, this is going to produce kind of like an adrenaline rush. And, you know, how do we sort of chase that again? And how do we top that? So it could go either way. And I don't know that it just diffuses because we want it to or hope that it does, or even if things get back to normal. Because what does normal even look like?
It's gone.
Like gone. After this?
Gone. I said that last week, is that normal is gone. Like the normal that we knew is toast. And I'm okay with that. Like what we're seeing are 10% of society that is not, to the point where you put this video out today. I thought it was brilliant. And this guy's lost. Like this represents the emotional stability of a group of people who legitimately think everything has happened
on the severe end of it.
Yeah,
on the severe end of it, you've found probably the example of the worst case scenario of the protesters.
Strangely enough, yes, I have. It's my pleasure. But I want you to listen. There's some nuance in here, right, Karima? This is the dude that was legitimately lost. Like, you got to fucking watch this. Part of me felt bad for him because this is like the mental issue that a lot of these people are struggling with. You got to watch this.
CBC, fake news. Get a real job. Oh, I know. Freedom of speech. Don't give me that shit. I'm fighting for 2 years for being harassed in the Toronto convoy. For 2 fucking years, I lost my business, my family. There's 300,000 trucks here, and they're the fucking virus. Not there's no virus. There's the virus. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news! Fake news! Fake news! Hitler did the same thing! Spread fake propaganda! There's the real virus! I found it! The real virus is right here! Right through Justin Trudeau's office! Hitler! Bye, Nazis! Bye-bye, Nazis! Get your money on that one! Enthusiastic cheer and claps for Pastor Hildebrand! Bye-bye! Look at that! Let's get him enthusiastic. Come on! Bye-bye! I got nothing to lose. I've already lost my job and my career. Put me on CP24! Fucking cocks. Canada and across the world.
So what you saw there at the end, I thought that was particularly interesting, is how he said, I got to tell you, I lost everything. I got nothing to lose. That is kind of the theme here, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the last thing you want to hear from someone who is like easily manipulated by people who have violent tendencies.
Yeah. Well, and can I just point this out as well? He's lost everything for a reason. Like all of these people have. Do you remember this hot number from
Drug
the other
use?
day? This
Was
hot
it drug
number.
I'm going to be here as long as it takes. As long as these truckers are going to be here, I'm going to be here. Because why? Because I think we should live free like we always have. Kicked off Facebook, blocked, not allowed to post any of this live, nothing else. That's why I'm here. They shouldn't have turned my Facebook off. Now I'm angry.
I love her so much. That's April, by the way. We found out her name this week. But this is about loss, right? We've all lost. We've all lost 2 years. These guys are taking it way harder than we are,
And
it is
everyone deals
legitimately a
with
problem.
it differently, right? Like
That was a good like ad for let's like get off social media a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
You're
some
not wrong.
of us go through social media and it's really like going through a ringer laced with shit and glass. Like it's awful. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you don't want that for your
Well,
for
A
your
lot of these people have they've relied on it, and they've come to make it a part of their life. It's like it's
know
woven
why?
into the fabric of their existence because they are nobody in real life, and they're a somebody online, or
Bingo.
they think they are.
Cosplaying, but here's the other thing. A lot of these conspiracy theorists are the laziest fucking people in the world. I have family members that are balls deep into this shit. And one of my family members said to me, if they would just get off their phones, they'd look around and see what we're trying to show people, which is that this is not what you think it is. This is not a trucker rally. This is a bunch of domestic extremists in drag. Like that's all it is. It's just they Trojan horse their way into Ottawa, pretending to be something else. There was a real political push for this. We just told you Melissa Lantsman and her Conservative Party are largely responsible for misrepresenting this and giving these guys like the green light. Do you know why people stormed the Capitol in the United States? Do you know why they did that? Other than being crazy fucks, they did it because they thought they had the blessing of the state.
Yep.
Yesterday and today. We're seeing people that think they have the blessing of the Conservative Party of Canada absolutely destroy faith in a city, the way that people live. There are a couple hundred trucks there idling in residential neighborhoods. People haven't been able to sleep. Karima, you know that. You haven't been able to sleep for 2 days, right?
I mean, I sleep through anything, so I personally have been fine, but
That's cannabis related, though. You and I have talked about this.
yeah, but this is very disruptive, right? It's very disruptive. It's very selfish. That's kind of at the core of the majority of what I've seen the anti-vax movement. And I call it anti-vax, really, COVID denialist, Trojan horse for other things. Like there is no, I don't have a good term for it. But
losers.
It's selfish, and it's on the one hand, right? Like I feel, and maybe I'm a bleeding heart, but like I sort of sympathize or empathize with people who have lost things, but there's like a limited bandwidth for that, and there are innocent parties who, through no fault or choice of their own, have had their positions or situations exacerbated by what others are choosing to do. So I wish that there was a way that we could get people the help they need, because kind of at the core of this is if someone was trying to seek help, for a family member or themselves or whatever, like that help's not available.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem, right? The division that this has created has gotten to a point
Well, we
where
don't want to help. We don't want to help them.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Is it not like they're pushing the help away with stuff like this?
No, but I'm saying the help is not there. There is no help for them to take, right? You call CAMH, you're on a waiting list for 3 months before someone's going to do your intake, right? Sorry, I made that number up, but that was the last time
But just
that
take out social
They
services.
admitted me
from
right
it.
away. Right away.
Take social services out of it,
It
Karima.
depends.
You're talking about family members that have been ostracized from the family because the family is fucking done. They're sick and tired of their bullshit, so they're not talking to them. So they've lost any sort of connection they have to reality or sanity, and they slip, right? And again, I think there are people that are more equipped for sympathy than I am, but and God help those people. I hope they're in positions where they can help. But I I've been through things in my life, and I've had the fucking courage to step out and go, okay, how was I involved? What part did I play in fucking this up to the point where it got to? And I take ownership for that, and I try to become a better person, and I move on. And that led to me getting fired. I mean, most people think that I've been fired from every radio job I've been in. The irony of it is I've only been fired once. And when I walked away from it, I had a fucking job in the next morning. I had a job the next morning. And guess what the first job I took after I fucking got fired? It was delivering newspapers, because somebody I knew had an opening, and I just took it. I spent 6 months getting up at 3:00 in the morning to make shit fucking wages. I had a 6-figure salary job that I lost. I fucking was delivering papers on the Friday after I got fired on the Wednesday.
Which means that you were
And
taking
I'm not some
job
kind of
from
fucking
a child.
hero.
You took a job from a child, Lachlan.
Thank you, James, but I fucking would have taken 10 jobs from kids. I got to feed my fucking family. I was being selfish.
That's objective reality. You
that.
get to a point where you're like, okay, I got to do something, and I got to do it for my family, and the ego doesn't matter. But these people are legitimately so lost that the idea that they go out and get another gig after losing their job, if it was from a mandate, or if it was because they won't get vaccinated, or if it was, and a lot of people still talking about fucking masks. I'm here because I hate masks. I heard that like yesterday. I'm like, oh my God, it's so thin. It just goes around your ears and over your, and you only got to wear it when you go in and out of the store. Like, really, it's
tyranny. I looked it up.
It's training.
Wearing a fucking paper mask is fucking tyranny. Oh my God.
I mean, there's definitely, a lack of maybe fortitude, right? That we sort of, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't, I don't know if I can generalize like that, but there's like lazy thinking, lazy sort of, but how do we write off a segment of society? Like, how do we come to grips with that? And even asking that question aloud, in our previous normal, we had already written off large sort of segments of society and just fend for yourself and tough shit. I don't think that we can actually take social services out of this equation. I think that the erosion of that is partially what leads us to this kind of point, and we've offloaded that onto kind of, okay, to your family or to your local sort of support network. But if that support network doesn't exist, like
Karima, I don't think there's been an erosion. I think that there's been a overabundance of need for it based on what the pandemic did, and that's nobody's fault. And what we're trying to do with these groups that are struggling with this and might be in Ottawa or might be on a bridge here in the white mud waving a upside down Canadian flag. They're looking for someone to blame.
Yeah,
and
because they won't turn it inward.
How can there not have been an erosion though? Like, even if we
I just
the
think
way that we invest in healthcare, the way that we invest in education or don't invest, and kind of the like, I think that there has been a devolution of that.
If you want to, in a quiet moment, if you said to me, sorry, I just want to say, in a quiet moment, if you said to me, if any of these guys, if I was to sit and talk with them in a room, and they're like, the government's corrupt, I would go, you're fucking right, they are. And if they said the government doesn't care about my life, I would say, you're fucking right, they don't. And if they said the government doesn't help us, they hurt us, they're preventative, I would say, of course they are. Yes. We agree. We all agree that we live in a time when we hate governance, and specifically the governance of a group of people that are so fucking stupid. To a politician that was in politics 30 years ago, like someone worth their salt, maybe a Bob Richardson or people that we know that are involved in this game, they'll say the same things. We are pulling from the dregs of society. People that don't give two fucks about the human nature of the people that they're supposed to be serving. They care about furthering the ideology of the color that they represent: conservative blue, liberal red, NDP orange. And they're so mad because of all the shit that we're all going through at the same time with them, They just have no way of processing it or responding to it properly. And going back to what Karima said, there has been an erosion of public confidence in government for 25, 30 years. I cannot stand the governance in our province of Ontario. I think we are run by lunatics. Where's Doug Ford? This is happening in his province. He has said nothing, to the point where not only has he said nothing, but his daughter's out there running around with a fuck Trudeau flag, joining in these protests on overpasses wherever she can find. Krista Ford. Like, we are legitimately leaderless. We are politically clueless. And if any one of those people with worth their salt that wasn't drunk this weekend said, what do you think of government? I probably would agree with almost every assessment they have of the availability of government in the lives of human beings in this country. I would.
Fuck it. Let's go to Ottawa.
And to your point, the same thing. Where's Trudeau?
I'll get the pullout.
I'm not gonna condemn any politician.
Come there. Get a copy.
I agree with absolutely everything that Dean just said, and he's got a point, and hopefully it's things like that bridge the gap here, and actually maybe get us to a point where we can actually be productive with this shit, as opposed to whatever this is.
Do you know what kind of change that we could incur with if the 10% came to the 90% or the 90% came to the 10% and said, okay, behaviors be damned. Give me like 10 of your most centered, which is impossible to find, individuals who understand policy and the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and we're going to give you the 90%, the best of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to come together to change the way politics works in Ottawa for Canadians, not for them on the backs of Canadians, but for Canadians. I bet you we get some shit done. But
we probably
they're
would,
unwilling to listen.
The thing is, and Ryan, I
know what you're going to say. I'm not saying he should show up at the protest, Lachlan. I'm saying he should be making a statement at least. He hasn't even put out a tweet.
But that's the issue we're dealing with, Ryan. I don't know. No one knows what to do with this. We don't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing is the only definitive wrong answer.
You think so? Okay, because I was actually
giving Mora's lost to indecision and wrong decision
a pass, because I mean,
if I was him, if I would put out a statement that said,
more mushrooms.
If I was Prime Minister Trudeau, I'd put out a statement that said, I wish all the protesters would have a peaceful protest. I like watching you exercise your right to freedom of assembly, and have a safe weekend. That's exactly, and that's all I would say.
I talked to somebody that
okay, I'm
knows
okay with
where
that,
he
then.
is.
I'm back on your side, Ryan.
I talked to someone that knows where Trudeau is, and wouldn't tell me, obviously, but he's like, yeah, dude, he's in the area. But we legitimately had to take him to like some kind of Airbnb because so many people were threatening his life this weekend. Like, so many people.
So do you blame him for not saying anything? I don't know.
Hotel.
No.
I don't know. I don't know, Ryan. Like, what do you say in this situation?
I think exactly what James just said. And
but James is stoned, and he's on a different level.
Still right. Still correct.
I didn't say you're wrong.
Still correct.
I'm a fucking billboard for we making you smart, man.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway.
There's nothing he can say that's going to diffuse them, right?
No.
He's not a person to them anymore. He's a meme.
What he can do, but what he can do to us is pacify us sitting here going, the last shreds of any sort of possible support I had in you or for you is very, very, very quickly eroding itself. So,
I got a question for you guys. Are we doing the Prime Minister's job for him today? And yesterday? Is that what we
yesterday I said, and I mean it, and I will fucking double down. If he comes out on the steps of the ledge and gets a fucking megaphone and goes, "Get off my fucking lawn," I'll vote for him.
I can guarantee you he's nowhere near the ledge.
You could have stopped that sentence at if he comes out.
A friend of mine works for.
I love Stone James. Why aren't you baked on all of our pods?
All of them. Yeah.
I am.
And can I just? I want to just find out, what are you on today? What's the mixture? What do we have? What's the cocktail?
Throw some pills in there.
He's fucked. This is awesome.
It's 60 milligrams of weed lozenges that I took.
Lozenges.
You know what? Rook is going to be slowing that down.
Lozenges.
Look at him.
Okay, go.
Take me off.
I can't keep a straight face.
I'll send you a picture of. So
All right,
I've
what
got
are
a
you
friend
guys
that
doing?
works on the ground for a crew at Pearson, and the Canadians' version of Air Force One was at Pearson yesterday. Strangely enough, so
We have an Air Force One. I didn't
with
even
it.
know that.
You know what I'm saying? I
That was
said
a
Canada's
hard
version
pivot,
of
by the
Air
way.
Force
Yeah, go
One.
on.
Yeah, it's a Greyhound bus.
No, it's a private jet.
I hope it's a fucking Greyhound bus.
It's
That
just
would
an
make
old
my
Greyhound.
day.
I'll pull it up and send it to you.
Chevelle.
With a sign on the back going, "Please don't
There's
shit
something-
in here. Pee
Somebody
only."
tells me he's not even in anywhere near
It's a
Ottawa.
log being dragged by dogs.
Please don't shit in here.
Hey, Karima, I know you probably want to go to Rito Center. Nope, sorry, closed. I know you probably want to hit the LCBO to grab a couple. Oh, that's closed today now, too. What is there
They
to do in
closed the
Ottawa?
liquor
Tell me.
stores
Oh,
now?
dude, they closed all the liquor stores in Ottawa
Liquor
today.
stores are
Yeah,
done.
there's
There's
some
gonna
stores
be
that are boarded
riot.
up on Rito.
What's that?
Yeah, it's too cold actually for me to smoke weed outside. I feel it was not enjoyable. So I'm gonna watch the Royal Rumble. I missed it yesterday.
Are you? That's what's next.
Wait,
That's-
now you have to just get gloves.
God,
You'll be fine.
I really
Hold it
enjoy
in
you,
your mouth.
Karima.
Is he awesome? Can I just
I'm
play
gonna
before we
watch
go?
the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and I got to go watch
I
Team
just-
Canada take on Team USA in men's
Without
soccer.
smoking
And
weed.
we got the Bengals Chiefs on. I don't even know the score. I had to lock myself out. One of our advisors is like, "Don't worry, I'll watch the game for you." I'm like, "Go fuck yourself." But this was Karima last night on a walkabout. I love this video, by the way. Posted a whole story about it because she found the bathroom lock. Karima found the Pure Blood bathroom. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
PB
All right.
only.
Watch this. This is crazy.
All right.
Just a couple guys
That's
in fur
brilliant.
coats and camo
That's
pissing on
brilliant.
Parliament. No video.
You know how hard it is when you got all that gear on and
To
big
whip it
mitts,
out?
how hard
Oh,
it is to
yeah.
get a hold of your dick?
Yeah,
Like
Like,
that's
Karima, you think you got
that's
it
a
bad
workout.
being a woman to pee when you're dressed like that? Guys have to root around for that thing down there
Yeah.
when you're all covered
Like
in
it's a
that
whole
stuff.
searching process.
It's
I mean, you're-
rummaging. It's just a
listen,
lot of rummaging.
My bandwidth of sympathy for that is none.
Yeah, that's
No.
right. You tell them, Karima. Listen to these motherfuckers, eh? Like, Jesus Christ.
The audacity
so
of this conversation.
I mean,
Oh my
I even
God.
have a lot to hang on to, and I've got a fucking dig when I got the whole
Oh,
gloves
yeah,
and the mitts
right.
and the
Oh,
pants.
you're a fucking
And a lot of
animal.
snow
Both of you.
pants don't
You're
have
all
zippers.
animals.
Did you guys know that?
No, I didn't.
I've
Some
never
snow
seen
pants,
zippers.
You're pulling the
Yeah.
suspenders off, and you got to get her down to your knees
Oh.
Have to.
before you get the old bad boy out. I mean, bad
Old Herb?
technology. I'm telling you, old
Yeah,
Herb,
Herb.
old Herb.
Karima, enjoy the rest of your weekend in our nation's capital. Enjoy Royal Rumble. I hope you get into a really nice indica and have a wonderful, restful rest of the weekend.
Thank
we really
you.
appreciate working
This
with
was
you.
a
and we
fun
thank you for
weekend.
doing
Thanks,
this.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of
You
good
did
fun with
you
you.
did a
Thank you.
fucking great job, Kareem.
Bang up
You really
job.
did. That was very enjoyable yesterday and today.
We'll
Yeah.
decamp tomorrow. Safe travels, okay?
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
She's
That's,
nice
Karima Saad.
too. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
She's nice.
Yeah.
She actually gives a shit. She's out there looking for moments of humanity, and all we're doing is just shitting all over it.
What are you talking about?
Shitting all over it like an
I'm not
Ottawa
shitting
street.
on humanity. I think we've done a great job representing the worst of the worst.
That's fair.
We weren't
know
going
how to
looking for the nice people.
Dunk on the absolute worst specimens of human beings this nation
Wow.
has to offer.
Can I tell you guys something?
Yeah.
This is the true
You're
story.
gonna.
First of all, let's just enjoy this one more time. Honk if you have a tiny dick.
She deserves some sort of a medal.
Yeah, I know she does. I just want to say this in terms of these people. I think that we all are on the same page. Like we take the piss, we have some fun,
Yeah.
we mock. But the reason why we show you the things that we show you, and the reason why we talk about this stuff, is because we love this
'Cause we're
country and we
cunts.
love the people in it, and we're cunts. But outside of
That's a
that,
combination, though, isn't it?
what else are
We're
we going to
lovely
do?
cunt.
No, but what else are we going to do? Are we going to get mad at these guys? I'm not mad at them. I'm not. I feel sorry for the people of Ottawa today. I feel sorry for the person that died because they couldn't get to the hospital last night in that story we just read. I feel sorry for the children whose parents are abusing them by taking them to this thing, blaring horns, watching them cry, subjecting them to Nazi imagery, subjecting them to hanging Trudeau in effigy. Like, I take offense to those things. But more importantly, I think we're all on the same page here. I think we want those people to get better, right? I do, because I want us to get better every day. My goal is to get better as an individual every day. I want those people to get better.
The irony is they think we're sick.
Yeah.
They
think we're under government
irony.
control.
Never go away.
Yeah.
This
I
will
don't know
never
how
go
much
away.
I don't know how much time we should spend worrying about whether or not they get better, because I'm
not
always reminded
worried about it.
I'm always reminded of like that Bill Burr skit where he's like driving home and there's a billboard and it's like, you know, real men don't hit their wives, and these men that are driving that beat their wives are like, oh, I didn't realize that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, honey. Come on, get up. You know, like you know, come over.
Burr really got to me.
Yeah, it surprises me that we still sort of like have this idea that we're going to cure the like bigoted opinions of a certain subset of people. Like that. It's never going to happen.
Fellas.
So the best thing I think that we should do oftentimes is to like lead by example and also ignore them and not try to get them muzzled, because that will only increase their numbers.
You mean like don't get them banned from Facebook? Because that lady was pretty mad.
Yeah, well,
I think she would have been there
Imagine
even if she
that
had access to Facebook.
If the Facebook employees were like able to see into the future and could determine that lady would like go to that caravan rally, they might have said, you know what, let's not block her Facebook account and keep that fucking bitch away.
No, they wouldn't.
And we've said a lot on this show that sunshine is the best disinfectant, and it's
always
true. You know,
always.
like silencing them doesn't make sense.
No,
you don't want them silent, because then you're proving their pointless point that they're being silenced while they're screaming at multiple TV cameras.
Is it
words that they can't
ableism?
put on TV?
Is it ableist? Is it ableist to make fun of that girl? I'm trying to figure out.
Whoa! Which girl?
April.
The girl with the Facebook account.
That's a girl.
Is she like?
I'm going to be here as long as it takes. As long as these truckers are going to be here, I'm going to be here. Because why? Because I think we should live free like we always have. Kicked off Facebook, blocked, not allowed to post any of this live, nothing else. That's why I'm here. They shouldn't have turned my Facebook off. Now I'm angry.
I couldn't tell because she's in camo, or I thought it was a he, but okay.
Right. Okay. So
like
she's
the
either a
hinterland
she or a
who
he.
is still my
between
favorite
the
thing we've
ages
done
of
in
like
months.
what, 20 and 60? Like I have no idea how old this person is. But either way, are we not? Would she be considered special needs? Because it feels like that, and I don't want to make fun of her if that's the case. But then again, if that's not the case, should it be the case? Because if you make fun of her, you're clearly making fun of her.
I think, according to the videos we've played and the people that I've seen, you could take that classification and largely put it everybody under that umbrella. Yeah, of being mentally handicapped. I do.
Well, it's amazing that we had them all in one spot and we just didn't take them out then. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. This fucking show today. Lachlan wants to shoot people from the fucking
I
rooftops.
swear to God, I'll stand by that. If I was there, if I was in Ottawa and I saw someone pissing on a Terry Fox statue, I would have beat the shit out of them. I would have grabbed them off that goddamn...
Dude, like an hour ago, you were in a bell tower with a rifle, so beating the shit out of them.
I didn't say I would be. I said someone should be.
I know, like a
there is a
strike.
decided difference between doing it yourself and, like, honestly, that's awful. Come on,
drone strike.
Yeah,
a drone strike.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I don't disagree, but yeah, we should probably tone down on the.
I'm kidding about the drone
on the murder.
You know what? I'm gonna do James a favor. I'm gonna do James a big favor. We're gonna end the podcast right here.
Hey,
so you can get back
I'm
to.
glad I could be of help, gentlemen.
Yeah, really good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
You were
Appreciate
clearly
everybody being here.
whacked today.
Oh,
That's fantastic.
still fucked. Yeah.
I
I
love
think
it.
that if you did proper analyzing of the metrics in the end, that people would say I test well. I test very well.
That is James DiFiore, Blackballed the podcast. Traditionally not this fucked for shows, but that's okay. He's going to be back on Monday. Really excited
Monday,
for
it's
it.
the Lord's
Different
Day,
level.
guys. You know how
All right.
I get on the Lord's Day.
Yeah.
You know.
That is Ryan Lindley, Sheeple Shepherd podcast. You can get him at Ryan Lindley on Twitter as well. That is Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. He'll be on the air tomorrow with Nick, the trucker, who I guess is going to be talking about how cool this weekend was. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, I'll give you a quick background. We were on last week, and we took a couple of opportunities to tease or make fun of the trucker convoy, like we do. Our show is irreverent, if anything. And he gave us shit for that and said that, you're not presenting the other side. So I offered him an opportunity, like I have countless times to people who've accused me of this, to come on the radio, and he's one of the, to his credit, he's one of the first people that said, yeah, I'll do it. And then we couldn't do it on Friday. We were going to do it on Friday, but we do a COVID-free Fridays where we don't talk about anything COVID or pandemic related or anything. So he agreed to let us go on Monday. So I'm going to give him a call on the 7.
7 o'clock?
Nick, yeah,
Nick, okay.
He's able to talk between 7 and 7:30. So sometime between 7:30 and 8, we'll have his call on. And his thoughts on the trucker convoy from somebody that supported it.
I'm actually kind of glad that you guys didn't talk to him last week, and now we've seen this weekend pan out, and now you can see what he has to say come tomorrow.
And if his opinion will change.
Yeah, I see if this has changed his opinion at all.
All right.
It's probably
Thanks,
a good
guys.
thing.
Can I just say really quickly? I have Terry Molesky tomorrow on Blackballed on Tuesday.
okay.
I have Ernie Pinicoli, who's like this hip hop photographer guy, legendary guy, and then I have Sean Avery on Thursday, who I think might be a little bit vaccine hesitant, at least. I'm not sure.
Oh boy!
Say hi to him for me. He loves me.
Before we
Yeah.
end,
Oh,
though,
okay. I definitely
Dean,
will.
Yeah.
It's not football.
Oh,
Scores,
don't
I
worry.
promise.
I've been trying to end this for 15 minutes.
I know.
And you guys
We have
keep saying
scores.
shit. So whatever.
We have
Keep
scores,
going. I
and
don't
that's
care.
it's just for how high James was. I don't know if you guys have seen this. There was a poll in the comments. Higher than a giraffe's pussy was number 1 at 40%. Stoner, mixed stoned was 2 at 28%. Sober as fuck, 22%. And just a little bit high, only came in at 8%. So
Yeah, because we can see.
Yeah.
Shut up, Lachlan. I'm not high.
You're a giraffe's pussy.
that's how high you are.
I'd like you to
All right.
reconcile that for the rest of the
He
evening.
says brains fry your drugs. Good night.
Fucking guys. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Love you
it.
guys.
Love you too. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.
you guys.
Thanks for being here. That's
We're off
James. That's
tomorrow, right?
Lachlan. No, we're back tomorrow.
Okay.
See you, dude. I'll talk to you soon. It's a lot of fun right there. That's how we do that. That's it for us. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Don't forget to sign up for a newsletter at deanblundell.com, where you can get all the content that we do that's like this sent to you. We don't spam, none of that stuff. Really appreciate it if you could sign up for that newsletter. That'd be awesome. Also, hit subscribe on YouTube, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube. Subscribe to us on Twitch as well, Dean Blundell TV on Twitch. And wherever you get your podcasts, Google, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Thank you. Be safe. Bye-bye.